Hi, I'm Kathy Mills from Short Film Edits, and I'm here with Liam Silbernagel for an interview today. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. I'm honored to be here. It's a pleasure, and yeah, thank you for having me.
Anytime. Could we start this with you telling us a little bit about you?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, my name is Liam Silbernagel. I am from a little town called Staten in Oregon, which is right above California. Um, a little farm town, and I was born in 1994. I'm the fifth child, the youngest of my mom and dad. I'm the baby boy. Um, yeah, the town I grew up in was very small, farm town, very good place to raise a family and all that stuff. But then when I was 5 years old, I my sister, my older sister, she was sitting there watching Titanic because she was obsessed with Leonardo DiCaprio. And I was 5 years old, and I'm sitting there and I see him on screen, and I'm like, whatever he's doing, I want to do that. So since I was 5 years old, I've been wanting to be an actor. I did it, throughout grade school, high school, and then I eventually, when I turned 18, I graduated high school. I got the hell out of there. I moved to Los Angeles, went to acting school for it was a 2 year program, and then the third year you audition for and you're part of the theater program. It was called the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. There's still the New York campus. And then I graduated, was done with that at 21. And ever since then, I'm 31 years old now, 10 years ago, and I have been, just chipping away basically, trying to become a full-time working actor. I'm at that point now. I've reached that within the last year, but before that, I was, just bartending, working in restaurants, just trying to keep the dream alive. Even I knew I was gonna get to that point. I was just kind of like, when is this gonna happen? COVID happened, a lot of that other stuff happened, but yeah. So now I'm here at 31 years old, full-time working actor here at my mom's, who means the world to me, and yeah, here I am.
Oh, good. Good. Yeah, how has your approach to acting changed as your career has grown?
Oof. Good question. And honestly, like my first initial reaction would be to say it's changed a lot, but honestly, my approach hasn't changed at all. Honestly, I think the main thing that I've just tried, hardest part with, pursuing this career is just somehow, some way learning to accept no a lot from a lot of different people that you audition for, casting directors, producers, directors, writers. You're gonna get no a lot. And I think honestly the main thing was to just, with my approach to acting, which is kind of how I am in real life too, is just, bring, you know, all the energy you can and, behave truthfully under imaginary circumstances. And I just kind of kept the same mindset and approach going when it just came to doing it. And that what that was just um not stopping and just continuing to not get stuck in my head about, man, what am I doing wrong? Am I doing this wrong? Am I doing that wrong? No, especially if you're getting callbacks, if you're getting, the same casting directors who are, bringing you into these rooms or asking you to self-tape and stuff like that. Obviously something was working, and that's what was happening with me as I just had to keep doing what I was doing and not fray from thinking like, man, what I'm doing is wrong the way I'm approaching this character. No, actually what I'm doing is right. I just had to keep going and then just keep knocking on the door, and eventually someone will say yes, come along.
Yeah, yeah. It's a cycle, and yeah, I mean, rejection isn't easy, but it's just you guys, it's nothing personal,
Right,
you know. Yeah.
exactly, that's the best way to put it. And I don't, I mean, there's always, I mean, I guess my way of approaching the acting is always just, I watch a lot. I the best thing for me to continue, sharpening the tools and keeping the imagination going, is I watch a lot of movies. I listen to a lot of interviews with actors that I, look up to, and I perform a lot, whether I'm always acting, kind of feel like I live with my best friend and his wife in LA, and we're always kind of just, coming up with different characters and stuff. So I feel like my approach has always been to just always act, even if you're not actually having a job right now where you're getting paid for it. And like I said, watching movies, reading a lot too has helped me. So yeah, approach hasn't changed too much. It's just learning, like you said, to just not take anything personal and just keep going,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
All right. So, like you said before, you graduated from the American Academy of Dramatic Arts.
Mhm.
What part of your training do you still rely on the most?
Ooh. God, that's a loaded question because there's multiple things, but more than anything, um, honestly, he's still a kind of mentor to me in my life now, in career, life, everything. But my first acting teacher I had at that school, his name is David Dean Petrell. One of the first things he told, the class I was in was, and I've already said it, I think, to just behave truthfully under imaginary circumstances. And one thing when I was growing up that I feel like a lot of us, when we're young and we start acting, we never thought about it, but was learning to listen and react to that other character you're talking to or the other characters you're talking to. Because when he said listen, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess how do we get through life if we're not listening to what another person's saying? And there's a lot of people in life who don't listen to each other. And so honestly,
Yep.
that's kind of the main thing with me was just like yeah, yeah. And to this day I notice it's so easy to fall out of that, not listening into reacting, just worrying about like, what your character's doing. And when you do, I've noticed when I do that, it comes off, I read it on the screen of like, he's in his head. I'm in my head right now.
Mm,
I'm not being free. So I think the main thing with me, honestly, since, that I've taken with me from that education was, yeah, just listening and reacting.
yeah. I think
Yeah.
it's finding the right balance between what you need to do and then taking in what's happening around you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I feel like I've heard it from a lot of other actors too, is, do all your prep work leading up to it, but then once that day comes where you film, everything you did, you kind of just have to throw it, like, not throw it out the window, but, don't expect everything you did to just now work
Mm,
once action
yeah.
starts. You know what I mean? Because like everything could change once it starts. So I feel like just keeping an open mind to everyone else around you is kind of the main thing, and just, yeah, listening and reacting and know your lines.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. What's a small detail you add to characters that audiences may never notice?
Ah. I've started to do that's funny. You ask good questions.
Thank you.
With that, I do you do. What's funny is I got this from and it's true too, but I got this from have you seen The Shining with Jack Nicholson?
Hmm.
Every once in a while, if you watch that movie, he will quickly, very quickly. It takes practice too. I'm still kind of like learning to do it. I don't try and do it with every performance, but one thing I try and do is just like give that camera a quick like the quickest glance you can possible to just know like, hey, I'm right here. And another thing I like to do is uh, that's a tough question, but I would say that's the main thing I do is I try and
Mm,
just like be like because I think one thing that's important is tr it's I feel like we get stuck in that aspect of acting in front of a camera where it's like we have to pretend the camera's not there. It's not there
yeah.
at all, but it's like no, I feel like the what helps me more is knowing that it's there. And if
Mm,
you are aware it's there, it kind of in a weird way breaks a fourth wall between you and the audience. It not I don't want to do it all the time, obviously, but if you give that like just quick second where it's like, yes, I'm here, and
mhm.
it just breaks this fourth wall where like there's another like layer of trust and comfort involved, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's something I'm like just like I haven't like crafted it yet because I'm nowhere near I will be nowhere near wherever Jack Nicholson is on the talent level, but something like that I always found was interesting because it's like it to some people I feel like can come off as like, oh, you don't care about your job. It's like, no, I care about the audience and
Mm,
them being aware that I'm here to bring you what I can, you know what I mean, to make you feel entertained, laugh, cry, mad, angry, upset, whatever.
yeah. Well, you may not be Jack Nicholson, but you are still you, and that's
Exactly,
that's good.
exactly.
You don't want
Thank
to
you
be
so
like him.
much.
You want to do your best work as you.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. All right. How do you stay creatively active between projects?
I already said it, but
Yeah.
with me, it's I'm fortunate because I have my best friend who I live with, who's an actor as well. And
Hmm.
so we're kind of we're just always kind of like we're always doing impersonations of people we know. We find people fascinating. We will his wife gets upset at us a lot of times because like anyone who like we like see at a restaurant or just walking, we create this whole life story for them. So I feel like in between those times where I'm not working, I feel like staying active, like that mind of like, being entertained by the people around me and my surroundings. But also I've already said it and I'm gonna say it again because I feel like it's an important part that I think a lot of I don't want to say a lot of actors, but I feel like they sometimes forget that like I mean at least for me, I learned so much from watching other movies, watching other actors, reading too. Reading can be a hard one for me at times just because I mean we live in such a fast-paced world right now, so it's
Yeah.
hard to, sit down for a couple hours and read a book, but anything that could stimulate my imagination, like watching movies, reading books, impersonating other people, watching other people around me and, watching their behaviors, that's what keeps me going.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. I like that. Okay. What's the difference between confidence and vulnerability for you on set?
Oh man, they kind of go one and one, I feel like in a weird way. That's it. It's
Mm,
gosh, you are good. On set, I mean, it's tricky because if you have too much, I feel like if you go in there thinking like, yes, I'm just gonna, everything's gonna work out in its favor. I got my lines down. I got this character down. I'm good. I got this. If you do that, then yeah, you lose the vulnerability of being
mm,
open and anything possible happening around you that might not go as planned, even with the confidence you have. So I feel like just keeping I feel like to have confidence and vulnerability at the same time while being on set is to just be open to anything that can happen and
mm,
not being worried if something doesn't go the way you want it to, then it's a bad performance or, it's not going to turn out the way you wanted it to. So I feel like just and I feel like honestly being for me, like I'm not one that like needs to constantly be communicating with the other actors and crew around me, but being aware of your surroundings and, saying hi to the crew member, talking to them for a bit if you have the time, if it's not, anyone, if it's not um getting in the way of the process of us filming and stuff like that. I feel like any moment you can get to just kind of be aware of the people around you can help give you that like just good balance of confidence and vulnerability where like okay everyone around me knows who I am, what I'm doing, how my personality is, how I'm feeling right now. If I can have them, you know, see that I'm here to work, then that confidence and vulnerability kind of just is there. I
yeah.
feel like for me, being aware of the people around me, I don't like to just sit there and not acknowledge anyone. There's some
Yeah.
I've been on a couple sets where there's just some actors where it's like they just sit there, like, they're on their phone in between takes, not talking to anyone. And like there are moments, that call for certain scenes, especially if they're, emotionally, heavy or physically demanding. Yeah, there's those
Mm,
moments where yeah, I gotta lock in. I'm aware of you guys, but I feel like being aware of the people around you who are, takes a village, and I think that helps just keep that the emotional confidence, physical confidence, and the vulnerability and all that um, afloat, and it helps you keep it going throughout the
mm.
process.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people that, like when you said they take time away during sets and they just sit on their phones or whatever. I know that some certain people find that refreshing for them and they need to do that
Hmm.
to get through the day.
Hmm.
Um, but at the same time, when you get to set, it's still good to acknowledge everybody. When you
Right,
leave, it's great to acknowledge everybody.
right,
But like
exactly.
during take, sometimes they're just like, I just need to be in my own head
Yes,
to get
exactly.
through the day.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. So I feel like communication is an important part about that.
yeah.
You know, as long as you're communicating with people with what you need or with what you need. Yeah, if you're communicating with them, then it'll make things easier. But if you're one of those who's just, you know, choosing not to talk to anyone or even say hi to anyone, then you're
Yeah.
already kind of creating a wall where it's like,
Mm.
okay, I don't really know how to approach this. And then everyone else's confidence and vulnerability can be thrown off by it, I feel like, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree with that.
so
Yeah,
good
just
question
get
though.
in, say hi, communicate your needs for the day. People will
Exactly.
understand. Yeah.
Exactly. Good question. What is it? You're on a roll. Keep them coming.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, what's a note from a director that really changed how you see acting?
God, a lot. Man, I've had some directors and acting teachers give me good advice, but
Mm,
I think on my uh one of my last films I did in China, the director, she was amazing. Her name was Meng. I was playing a villain and like the lead villain, and it was my first day, and it was my first take, and I was ready. But it was a big scene. I remember I come
mm,
in and I'm like destroying everything with the guys around me, and I have this big speech, and I felt good about it. But I after we cut, I went up to her. I was like, was that too much? Was that too little? And just the way all she said was, no, you can give me more. Just her saying that,
mm.
I don't know, because I'm one of those who like I like to go as far as I can, but sometimes I worry that it's too much sometimes.
Yeah.
And to just have a director like say that, you know, no, you can go further. I want you to keep going further. It helped me realize like it gave me the confidence to that knowing what I'm doing is good enough and that I shouldn't have to be in my head about what I'm
Mm,
doing. You know, that's one advice she gave me of just, you know, like you can go further. I'll tell you when to tone it down. But I go back to what my first acting director teacher told me was just listening and reacting and behave truthfully under imaginary circumstances. And, you know, if you feel like you're doing too much, there was one thing he said, I remember. He's like, if you feel like you're doing too much, don't worry, because humans are a lot. You know,
mm,
you know,
mm.
like I feel like a lot of times us actors, we get stuck in that like every character we portray is differently, but I feel like sometimes we get stuck where we have to like make everything so subtle and like take it like nothing's happening, you know, everything should just be really subtle, quiet, you know, but no, humans are messy and sometimes humans are over the top, um, react in big ways, and yeah, it just helped me realize like, okay, like not everything has to be, especially on film. I feel like a
Mm.
lot of us get stuck early on of like, okay, I have to make everything seem so real and down to earth and subtle. And no, you don't have to do that. You know, it's just finding that balance of truthfulness when however way that is, whether it's, you know, being loud and abrasive, obnoxious, or being quiet, upset, sad. Like humans have levels. You know,
Yeah.
we're up and down at all times throughout the day. You know,
Yeah.
so I feel like that's a couple moments of advice and just things that they've certain people have said to me over the years where I'm like, okay, don't forget that.
Mm. I mean, I personally find subtlety more impactful, but
Right.
there are some scenes that, depending on the scene, subtleness won't work. It has to be loud. It has to be dramatic.
That's yeah, and that's it. That's the
Yeah.
thing. I'm glad you say that because I feel like I'm sure there's scenes you've watched where I'm like, oh, he could have done more. He could have done, or she
Mm,
could have done more. She should have done more. And then there's also times though too where it's like, they didn't need to do that. You know,
yeah.
it's nice that I can see that they're trying, but it's okay. You can, tone it down. Yeah, it's a
Mm,
balance, you know.
it is.
And yeah, I'm glad that you recognize that too because I feel like some people they get stuck in one way of doing things, whether it's either too much or too little. It's like, no, different things call for different emotions, different ranges, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. What kind of storytelling is the most meaningful to you?
Say it one more time. You cut out for like a second.
This internet connection is bad today.
No, you're good.
Um,
It's been good. It's just for this last couple seconds. Say it one more time. You're
okay.
good.
What kind of storytelling is the most meaningful to you?
Ooh. Mm. I unfortunately am, and I get it from my mom. I like sad stuff. I really do.
Hmm.
I really do. I love my good slapstick comedies and my, typical action dramas. But I just saw, I don't know, with, it's with, oh God, Jesse Buckley, um, Paul Mezcal. It's about Hamlet. It's about Shakespeare making Hamlet, and it's him in real life, and it's just their son dies, and the best kind of storytelling. It's just such a tragic story. So I do like watching and reading stories that where people are really kind of at their lowest form, and just seeing where they're gonna go from there. Are they gonna, overcome it, or are they gonna get further and further down? Are they gonna lose it all? I don't know. Because in life, I mean, a lot of bullshit happens, and I feel like the best kind of stories for me, at least, that I enjoy watching are seeing people go through that, because it helps me realize too, like, you're not alone, like if whatever you're going through in life, watching a movie where someone's going through something, tragic or sad or happy, it helps knowing that it's like, oh, I've been there too. Okay, now let's see how they get out of this. So anything where it's like real life, like, oh my God, I've been there. I enjoy really kind of dark and sad storytelling, honestly.
Have you seen What Dreams May Come?
No, but I've heard of it.
That is a brilliant, sad movie. Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can watch that tonight, because I've heard about, yeah, I mean, you see this
Robin
movies like
Williams.
that where it's, oh my, what's the plot line again? I had a friend talk to me about it, but I totally forgot. And remind me of it again.
So there's some like an incident which happened, and I don't want to give too much away for spoilers,
Right, right,
but he
right.
tries to rescue someone from hell to heaven.
Oh wow, yeah.
Mm.
And okay, let me write it down. What's it called again? I'm just gonna write it.
What dreams may come.
Dreams may come. Okay. Yeah, yeah. See, it's stories like that. I mean, and then I think about, did you see, it's on Netflix, Adolescence?
No, I haven't seen that one.
Oh, yeah, that's another one where it's, I mean, yeah, this mom and dad there, and it was based on a true story too. It takes place in England. Their like 13, 14-year-old son, he is found guilty of murdering another girl his age.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's just like one of those where it's like, oh my God, I can't, like, how would you? And they're good parents. They're like, they're not, like, he was raised right and stuff like that. And,
Mm,
normal, working class family. And it's just one of those situations where it's like, what do you do in that kind of situation, So, yes,
yeah.
stories like that, With Dreams May Come, that sounds
Hmm.
intense.
It is. It is, but it's brilliant. And another good one is My Sister's Keeper.
I've heard of that. Okay, I'm gonna write that down too. Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, but stories like that I tend to latch on to. It was My Sister's Keeper, right?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah,
I
I
haven't
think
seen it
you're
in a
right. I
very
think
long
you're right.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll keep an eye on that too. But yeah.
definitely. Okay. Um, if you could revisit one role with the experience you have now, would you do anything differently?
Ooh, I feel like I got like multiple characters for that, because I have like a vertical character that I've done where I have something similar to that. I have, when I was doing theater back in the day, I have a character like that. But I'll just use one of the more recent um vertical ones I did. It was a cop one. TJ Wilk.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I was playing his son in that, and it was great. I was I was happy with what I did, but I recently just was watching some clips of it because I was putting some footage together for it. And there was just certain moments where I was like, I look back at it and it was my first kind of major vertical where I was like, okay, this is like a lead. And I just remember watching, I'm like, oh, like there was a moment where I'm like, okay, I took that. I did too much with that, but then there was a next scene where, I feel like I could have gone a little bit further with it. Um, I feel like with that character, I made him emotionally messy, which worked, but at times I feel like it was messy from how I was doing it. I didn't have as much control of it as I wanted to, the messiness. I feel like had I maybe just not prepped a little bit more, but just been a little bit more. I feel like there was times during that one where I just kind of got lost in everything that was going on because with these verticals, they can be they could there's a lot going on at once, I mean,
Yeah.
and we're doing 15 pages a day, and that's one where I just feel like I put so much energy into it where I feel like there were certain moments where I'm like I could have pushed back a bit right there,
Mm.
and then instead of this scene where I went super high stakes with it. I could have toned it down a bit. And then there was another clip I watched where I was like, I could have done more with that. I could have done more with that. But I would say, yeah, with that one, it would just be um I prepared a lot for it, and I kind of already said it earlier, but there was times where I put too much preparation into it, and if it didn't go my way, I'd kind of be like, oh shoot, now I don't know what to do. So that's what I would say is that character.
Yeah. But without those moments, you have nothing to learn from.
Exactly, and I feel like I've read this quote. It was Christoph Waltz actually. He said he's like if an actor if you're an actor who gets off stage or gets done for the day with a film, if when it's all said and done, if you go there, if you finish it and say, man, I killed that,
Mm.
I was so good at that, then there's something wrong. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
There's always more to like there's I could have done there's always more to learn from. So I feel like there's
Yeah.
that weird balance too with actors is finding that middle ground of not getting too high and not getting too low. And it can be really hard, I feel like, because especially if you're booking one after the next, you feel like kind of like you're on cloud nine. Like, man, everything I must be
Yeah.
doing is good. But there's even been certain verticals, especially where I've watched, where I'm like, ah, man, I can't wait to watch this. And then I watch it, I'm like,
Hmm.
I was okay, So I feel like it's keeping that
Look,
balance of, you know,
yeah. I mean, my daughter, for instance, she's a person who tries to get everything perfect. And if it's not perfect, she gets upset. But I keep telling her that no matter what, as long as you try your best, you can walk
yes,
away from it saying, I did everything I could.
yes, exactly,
It doesn't
exactly. And I
matter
feel
if
like,
it's not perfect.
yeah, and I feel like I'm kind of, I get your daughter because I feel like I get,
Mm.
not all the time I've gotten better at, but there are those times where I'm like, I have to make this perfect. This take has to be perfect. Why am I not getting the lines down? I should know this. This has to be perfect. I said it perfectly. I said it perfectly when I was rehearsing at home, but why is it not coming out this way now? Just forget all that, just
Hmm.
take moment to moment.
Yeah. Sometimes imperfections can be the greatest moments.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I feel like we've all seen, movies, just performances in general, where like I feel like we've all seen those where it's like, oh, they didn't mean to do that, did they? But that worked so
Hmm.
good. So I feel like, and those are sometimes the best moments,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
Improvisation is huge. Like, even if
Yes,
it wasn't meant to be there or intentional. Um,
yes,
and also, you go into a performance and your other scene partner might have thought about it completely differently. So it changes the whole dynamic when you get in there in the first place.
yep, yep, exactly. So yeah, and like I said earlier, it's listening and reacting from that, whoever you're working with as the other actor you're working with, they might have something totally different too. So it's like you got to be open
Mm.
to anything that happens
Yeah.
and just be ready for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. When do you feel most free creatively?
Ooh. Honestly, when I'm around other people who are thinking and being free creatively. I mean, because we've all, I feel like, been on certain sets as actors, or just worked with certain people where it's like, yeah, I feel like I can't do like anything I do isn't right to them, or they're just they want it their way and that's it. I feel like when I'm around people who are open to just being as, you know, free and letting, like, yeah, try that, try doing it that way, and if it doesn't work, we'll let you know. But it can be difficult because there's some, just directors or sets you're on where some people don't think that way. So I feel like for me, when I'm working around other people who are open to, trying different things and doing things differently than, maybe it was written or how the word should be spoken, I like being around people who um are free creatively too. Because some people, yes, some people, like we were saying, like they go into it like this is how we're gonna do it and that's it. And sometimes that's just like, and it
Mm,
sucks because especially if it's like the director or the whole crew, but the actor, it's tough when there's one side who wants to do that, but the other side doesn't want to do it, and then that can
mhm.
make it difficult. But I would say when I'm working around people who are open to me being creative and trying different things and doing things differently, that's when you usually feel my most free.
Yeah, you need to find a good balance between the crew and the cast as to how to make it
Hmm.
work properly. I
Hmm.
guess the hardest part would be if the client wants it a specific way.
Exactly. But that's also a learning experience too. And that's part of, like we were saying, where sometimes things aren't going to go your way, and
Mm,
sometimes you learn just as much from being on a set or being on a, a film where it didn't go that good.
mm, yeah.
Sometimes I've learned things from like bad experiences. In life too, you learn from bad experiences.
Oh,
So I
yes.
feel like it's part of just learning to accept that, not everyone's going to think and work the same way you do.
Mm, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah. All right. When does a scene feel truly alive for you?
Honestly, when I'm not okay, so when I after it's when it's cut, scene's done, when I sit there and I say, "What happened? Like, what
Mm,
did we just?" Because I was just so like lost in like what we were doing. Like, how did, like, when I'm not even thinking about like how do I look right now? When the scene's over and I sit there and say, I kind of got when I get lost in the scene, that's when I feel like, okay, yeah, like I want to watch that playback because I was not thinking, I didn't have my actor's mind on. I just had that human behavior,
mm,
behaving under imaginary circumstances thought going on. And that's, yeah, yeah, that's usually, I feel like that's kind of what we are always kind of pursuing is, when the scene's done and they say cut, you sit there and go, wow, I must have really been feeling that because I didn't have that actor's, mentality of like making it go this way. I was free. I was open to anything.
mm.
Because
Yeah.
in life too, you don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know what's going to happen in this moment with somebody, this conversation you're having. We try, and humans try and navigate certain things, but when I felt the most free is, yeah, usually afterwards when I sat there and say, "Wow, I didn't everything I had planned, I don't remember doing. I just remember being in that moment with them, and everything else around me was just blank, kind of,
Yeah.
So yeah, I
It
would
just
say
shows
that.
that everything in that moment just connected
Yes,
perfectly.
exactly. It's like when you connect with someone outside, when you're just talking to someone and you're having a great conversation with them, everything else around you kind of just goes
Mm,
blank, like all your surroundings are just kind of fizzled away and you're not even thinking about it. You're just in that moment with that person. And that's the best.
yeah.
That's when I feel it the most, honestly.
Yeah. It's good. All right. What's something you're still learning to trust in your process?
A lot. Um, I would say the main thing is just not getting, not just not planning ahead too much, not thinking, this is how it should be, this is how I should, say this line, or this is how I should be behaving in this scene. But also, I would say just stay confident and how you're doing it and not getting in your head in those moments of action because it's so easy to read. And I feel like I don't know, it's really once you get in your head, it's hard to get out of it. You know, at
Oh
least
yeah.
for me. Yeah. So I feel like just like you kind of said earlier, the balance of confidence and vulnerability, just learning to keep that in check, you know, or not in check, but keep it going because
Mm.
with anything in life, once, you know, I don't know about you, but once I get in my head about anything in life, it's really hard to get it out, you know?
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so I would say that's the main thing.
I think everybody goes through that. I think
Yeah,
everybody,
and it's
if they care
brutal.
about it enough, they, yeah,
Yeah, and, and it's because you care about it, but it's brutal when you go through those stretches of just like, oh my God, why is this like affecting my head so much right now? And it
yeah,
can be for 10 minutes or it can be a day, a couple days, and it can get difficult, but just I feel like for me too, honestly, one thing that I try and do is figure things out myself instead
mm,
of asking for help. And I feel like
yeah,
sometimes I don't like asking for help. I don't know why. So I feel like that's something else I'm trying to learn too and trust in
yeah,
myself is, you know, if I'm not getting a certain, you know, line down or I'm confused or I just don't know what the character is going through right now, don't be afraid to ask the director or
mm,
another actor to help you out, you know. I like to
yeah,
try and figure things out myself and
mm,
is your daughter the same way kind of?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same way too. I don't like to ask for help and there's times where it's like, dude, you need help.
Mm. Well, look, the thing I've learned from this and that I try to communicate to her is you need to ask yourself why it's bothering you
Mhm.
so much.
Mhm.
Figure out why, and then you can figure out how to move
Yeah,
past it.
navigate it. Yeah, and so
Yeah,
and asking somebody for help can unlock something you never thought about before, you know?
absolutely.
So, yeah, I would say that's the main thing for me actually.
As
Ask
long as you take the right kind of help.
exactly, exactly. Yes, ask the right person too.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Yes,
exactly.
absolutely. All right. What's harder, making something look effortless or making it feel real?
Oh my gosh. Um, I feel like making something look effortless is more difficult.
Mm,
Um, because funny enough, I was watching um earlier today. I was watching a movie called Heat with Robert De Niro, Al Pacino. It's an amazing movie. I hadn't seen it in a while, and I was just sitting there watching. Like, God, this is so good. I feel like making things effortless is so difficult because I look at like someone like Robert De Niro or Al Pacino, because making stuff look real, I feel like is one thing, but when you see someone making stuff look effortless, it's just that other layer, that next level of like, oh, damn, they just got it. You know what I mean? Like, and
mm,
I feel like it's easier to um tr especially as an actor, like when you're making something look effortless, it's so much easier to bring them in. Whereas like because there's a lot of things that, you know, yes, this looks real right now, what they're doing, but it can be boring.
yeah.
Or it
Yeah.
can be, you know, whatever. But when it's like effortless, it's like, damn, they're good. They just know what they're
Yeah.
doing, you know? Yeah. So I would say effortless is more difficult.
I mean, I think
Great
one
question.
of the actors I think makes a lot of things look effortless is Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
Mm,
Thank you. I love Nicolas Cage.
yeah.
I feel like he's had like his like bounce back in a way, but I feel like there's
Mm,
even some people still to this day like I don't really I'm like how do you not like Nicolas
how?
Cage is genius because it
Yeah.
like he makes such bold choices, but he makes them effortless.
Hmm.
You know, where it's
Yeah.
like God, like and only it's like only he could do it that way and make it work, you know?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great actor to say that
I
about. Yes.
mean, there's the difference. So, like, for him, there's a movie that I just love because I love it. And there's a movie that I love because his acting in it was amazing. So, the one I love just
Tell
because
me,
is
yeah.
Gone in 60 Seconds,
Great movie
because
with Angelina
great
Jolie. That
movie.
movie's so amazing. Yes.
But my favorite from all acting things is Face Off. I love Face
Oh,
Off.
thank you. Funny enough, one of the characters in this vertical I did in China, I actually like I watched Face Off just
Hmm.
to like get into that like dude that
Yeah.
opening scene where he's in the priest outfit and he like
Hmm.
starts headbanging.
Yeah.
That movie is oh yes, you
Yep.
you got good taste.
He's a great actor. I love it.
He is, he is.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything you want anybody to know about you or your work?
I want them to know everything. No. Uh know about me, like know about me personally or just about like me with work.
Look, I asked this question because I don't ask personal questions. So I asked this in case there's anything that you want to tell somebody on your own accord. So it's up to you.
Oh, it could be anything. Got you, got you. Like
Anything
someone
at all.
I'm in an elevator with somebody, they're like, "Hey, what's one thing that like okay, okay.
Yeah.
Ah ooh, that is tough. I don't know. I'm not gonna say something like I ride motorcycles because everyone knows I ride motorcycles. I love riding motorcycles. I would say it's like I don't want people to know this, but I love when I do tell them because then I do it and they're like, okay,
Hmm.
stop. As I do a pretty good Donald Trump impression.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, yeah. I won't do it right now, but that's one of those things where it's like I don't when I say it I don't like saying it, but then once they say let me hear it and I do it, they're like, okay, got it. I'm good, I'm good.
I need to say that now.
Right. Um,
Oh gosh.
yeah, I won't do it right now, but that is
No.
a random because I was like, okay, let me think of something random. That's a random thing for me where it's like I don't know, because I just love the buildup of like, and then when I do it, people's reactions just like, oh, okay, yeah, yeah I've seen enough. It'll be like 1 second, and they're like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Again, what's harder, doing less or doing more in front of the camera?
Oh, okay. For me personally, doing less is more difficult, but I think
Hmm.
in general, doing more is harder. Um, because you can, I mean, I'm gonna use Nicolas Cage as an example, honestly, because we were just talking about him, but he's someone where like he can just take the most minimal thing or the biggest thing and turn
Mm.
it into his own thing, and it can be so huge and in a way where you sit there and you say, why did he make that choice? But oh my God, did it work?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So for me personally, I think doing less is harder because I kind of run into the problems of like, it's easy for me it's easier for me. I don't want to say easy. It's easier for me to do a lot with something than it is to do less. And sometimes I don't trust my own instincts when it comes to, hey, sometimes with this line or with this moment right here, you can take it down a notch, it's okay. But I think overall, I think doing more is more difficult, especially if it's a character that requires a lot of it, because it just takes so much energy out of you day in and day out. And especially on
Yeah.
verticals with the lead, with any of the villain roles. Oh my God, I mean, I'm sure you've seen plenty where it's, you watch the villains and they're just I mean, I've had a couple. I did one in China where I was
Hmm.
just page after page after page of just heightened emotion, and it's exhausting. It's physically,
Yeah.
mentally, emotionally exhausting. And, I especially I'm gonna say with verticals too, it can be difficult. And, one of the tropes I feel like with verticals that does stop is I feel like it's so, I don't know, with the villains, they're so easy to hate.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
really hope it gets to that point where they're actually like, because like I feel like I could make a villain hateful but entertaining, but it's so hard with the verticals and the way they write them. It's so hard to like them, and I feel like another layer that would make verticals so interesting if you made the bad people more like not more likable, but like I want make me like them more, make me want
Give
to
them a
see their side of the
backstory.
story.
Give them a backstory so we can understand.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, like make it more difficult for me to hate them. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I feel like with verticals they just make it so easy and predictable to
Yeah.
hate them because they're
Yeah.
terrible. They just make them the most terrible, vile people. And I feel like I hope that's one thing that changes. And
Mm.
yeah, I kind of went off in a tangent there, but I would say yeah, just doing a lot, doing more is I think it's more difficult.
Yeah. I mean,
It,
I with villains, I like the ones that I still don't like, but you can semi-sympathize with.
Exactly.
Like,
Like I feel like with verticals, they don't give them a reason as to
mm,
why they are the way they
yeah,
are. You know what I mean? And I feel like with any like especially you know, take a look like Nicolas Cage or Jack Nicholson or just and in some verticals too. I'm not just saying all of them, but
mm,
with any like bad character we love, it's because because there's usually something where it's like I understand why. I get why they
yeah,
are the way they are now. And I feel like I hope that's one thing that can really change this next year or the years that develop
mm.
with these verticals.
I would love to see that too. Just give them some
Right?
reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They've just gotten so predictable, I feel like.
Some of them
And
are. I love seeing verticals and you're just like, oh my God, because I've seen a lot. And I'm like, oh my God, that's a new storyline that I haven't seen before. You
and they're
know,
getting there.
they're
They're
getting there.
starting. They really are starting to get there.
Yeah.
Especially the last couple ones. Funny enough that I've sent in tapes for, especially in LA, in New York. I'm like, okay, they're starting to. Yes, these storylines are starting to work, and I feel like I don't know. I even for you, like, give me a storyline like that, something that's, more realistic or whatever you want to call it. Give me something like that.
Mm.
And if it doesn't work, at least you tried. At least you didn't fall into the
Mm-hmm.
predictable tropes that like a lot of verticals are. Like I will appreciate a vertical. I was actually um part of one where it was like it didn't nail the way they wanted it to, but it was a different story and like
Mm.
that, I feel like that's what viewers want is like look, I don't
Yeah.
need to like it doesn't have to be my number one favorite vertical of all time, but if you just give me something different,
Mm.
it's just something just refreshing my mind, refreshing my eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing
Yeah.
I really want to see this year, or hopefully very soon, is finish the story. Don't leave us
Oh
wanting a
my
part two if
God.
it doesn't come. Just
Or
finish the
it's just the
story.
most bullshit, sorry, I'm gonna bullshit ending where it's like everything just happened and then the end.
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
some of the endings are just so like I did one where it was like a 40-page banquet scene, which those need to go to, by
Hmm. There are
the
a
way.
lot. Yeah.
And then like all this crazy stuff happens, and then it just like ends with the protagonist kissing, and that was it. It was like, oh, okay, so we did all that, and now it's just done. Yes, I
Mm.
get you 100%.
Yeah. I mean, I think I saw one. Obviously, I'm not going to say which one it is, but I saw
Yeah,
one where it
right.
was practically like one or two locations in the entire thing.
Oh,
And it was just bullying and,
yes.
backstabbing and just the entire thing. And like, what's the point of this story?
Right, and like like
Like,
being and like it's hard, especially when you're playing the villain too, especially in like those typical trope ones where it's like, okay, now he's just hitting them for there was no reason to start beating the
hmm.
shit out of this person, and now they're just doing it. Like I
Yeah.
don't like look, humans are abusive. Humans can be physically abusive and stuff like that, but
Mm.
give them a reason as to why they just start beating this person up. You know what I
Make
mean?
it make
Or
sense.
yes, make it make sense. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Have it
Yeah,
be a good
we were
part of the
passionate.
storyline for it to like,
Right.
that's the reason they did that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
both we did a good job there. That was a passionate
Yeah,
little
we did.
debate right there.
Yeah. All right. Do you prefer characters you understand immediately or ones that challenge your instincts?
Ooh, another great question because sometimes you get those I mean, I've had a couple characters where like, after the first second page I'm like I got this guy. I got him, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? But the problem with that is, halfway through the process of filming or the process halfway through the process of everything, it can start to feel stale and kind of,
Mm.
repetitive. So for me personally, I do enjoy having to dig,
Hmm.
so it's more rewarding in the end, I feel like.
Yeah.
Whereas like, I mean, sometimes it's just, especially if you've done, three, four films in a row and you get a character where it's like, okay, I got this guy. Sometimes it can be nice sometimes, because it's just in the wheelhouse. But I feel like for me personally, like, yeah, having to dig it's more rewarding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. Okay. How do you make similar roles feel unique?
Oh my God, another great question. Because especially with verticals, a lot of them can be very similar, especially the
Hmm.
villains. Well, even the protagonists too, they can seem so similar.
Yeah.
How do you make them feel differently? Oh my God, that's a question I fight with every day, honestly. I
Mm.
still don't have the answer, but I'm trying to figure it out. I think it's just, having and especially with verticals, like you said, give them a backstory, and a lot of them don't have backstories. I feel like for what helps me is doing my own background work on a character, giving them a little bit of a life story while I'm prepping for the character. I feel like, giving them certain physical ticks, even like the walks, anything physical, like, the way they walk, I try and make that different from, another character that's very similar to that one. Even if it's just like a subtle vocal change, I feel what helps me the most is finding a different physicality trait from them. You know what I mean? Like I said, whether it's a walk or just a little bit of a subtle voice change, I feel like that really helps me open up, a lot more options where to take the character because
Mm.
I feel like it's so easy, especially whether it's the villain's protagonists, they're a lot of times they are the same, written the same,
Mm.
but for me what helps the most is like how can I make them a little bit physically different, and then that can help me you know on the path of just making it as different as I can from the character that I played last that's similar to him.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
guess being around different cast members would also make it different.
that can help too, honestly. Yes, and I
Mm.
mean, it's great. I mean, it's such a that's such a fun um difficulty to have because especially if you get along with said actors and you get to work with
Mm.
them again, it's awesome. But it's so
Mm.
easy to like it's so easy because it's like, oh, we just get along with each other. Now I just feel like we're doing the same film that we just did a
Yeah.
month ago with each other. Yeah, 100%. I love working with the same people over and over, but that's a good little note you just gave me, is that sometimes having different cast members and just working with different people, even that can help.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, I have two more questions.
let's get it.
What's your funniest moment on set?
um okay, it didn't happen to me, but I
Hmm.
was there and witnessed it. So um it was in China, and love her to death. Her name's Alex. What's her name? What's her last name, actually? You might let me, because I feel like you'll probably know her. Alex, because I want you to put face to name.
Yeah,
Swanbeck, Alexandra Swanbeck. Do you
yeah,
know
yeah,
her?
yeah,
Yes, yes,
yeah.
yes. Love her to death. I can't wait to the day that I work with her again. She had just wrapped. It was our last day, and Nevin, Nevin Tomic. Yeah, him
Yeah.
and we had one more scene to do together. I'm like his little assistant right hand man. But she had just wrapped, and so applause around for Alex. She just finished, yay! And they gave her a little like gift basket where there was an apple in it.
Hmm.
And so, we're sitting there, getting ready. Nevin and I are getting ready to film our scene, and we're just talking to her. Love you so much. We're gonna miss you, but we know we're just talking. And she takes a bite of the apple, and she has a bottom permanent retainer, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
and it completely just pops off. And it was just like, what are the odds that this like happened like as you just wrapped? And
Hmm.
and then she's like, and it's like half of it's like stuck. Like the other,
Oh.
I hope she doesn't get mad for me telling the story. She won't because it's hilarious. But like the other half, she just had to like pop out, and I was just like, what the hell just happened? And then it was like, okay, Nevin, Liam, action, and we're like, okay. So I would say I got plenty of funny stories, but that was one where I will never forget that moment.
Mm. Well, after we finish recording, I have a funny story to tell you. So
Beautiful.
I'll
Okay,
tell you that.
perfect, perfect, perfect. I can't
I'll tell
wait.
you
I
that.
can't wait.
Um, okay, if you could go back and relive a single moment in your career, which moment would you pick?
Oh, there's many moments, but I think, and this was before Verticals. This is when I was doing theater. I was 21 years old, and I did a performance of this very, I mean, down on his luck guy, super depressed, miserable guy. And, the reason why, and, you find out later in the story why he is the way he is actually really tragic. Is the way he is. There was a moment where you know, curtain, boom, we were done. Performance was done. And I remember seeing my mom and my oldest brother Arlo, their faces, because it was such an
Mm,
intense, heavy, heavy play. Um, and just seeing their faces, it was like the first moment where I was like, seeing like how like just kind of I could see they were proud of me, and
mm,
just seeing that moment again, I just want, it was one of those moments where I just want to see again. You say
mhm,
relive it, and that's a moment where I do want to see again, and I hope I know I'll get to that point, but it's for me, it's any performance you know I don't really necessarily care about what I do my best. I throw it all out there, but if I can make my family happy and proud, that's the best moment.
yeah,
You know,
absolutely. At least you
so
have that picture in your mind at all times you don't want to forget about.
exactly. That picture, like, yeah, picture in my mind is something that can, you know, keep inspiration and motivation going. So yeah, thank you, appreciate that.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much for having this interview with me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for doing what you're doing, and just keep kicking ass.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
No,
Appreciate it.
no worries. I'll talk to you again soon.
Yes, absolutely. You as well.
Thanks. Bye.